Hello everybody, this is Adam at A Strings. I am here with the amazing Mark Holcomb from Periphery. We are here at the D'Addario NYXL event. How are you doing, my friend?
Great.
Good?
Yeah, a little jet lagged, a little road worn because we've been driving for 3 days in a row, and right before that we took our transatlantic flight, and that took it out of us as well. So yeah, you're getting about 60% of me. Yeah.
So how has the dates gone so far? You've got 4 here and 2 in Europe, is that right?
Yeah, four here and then 2 more in Frankfurt and Munich.
Nice.
So yeah, I would have liked to do it for a longer time, but I had to be back for some personal reasons in the States. But
cool.
no, I mean, we would have extended it by a couple weeks if we had our choice. This is a lot of fun for Nick and I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going back to before all of this then, how did your relationship with D'Addario start?
You know, I'm 35 now, and I've been playing guitar since I was 17, and I don't remember there being a firm starting point because D'Addario's always been the strings that I've used.
Okay.
And I promise I'm not just saying that because I know I'm on camera. But really it has. I remember the first ever music shop I went to was in Southern California, and I took a couple guitar lessons. My stepfather bought me like an Epiphone Les Paul.
Sweet.
And the first ever strings that were on it were D'Addario. And I remember just not ever considering another option. Really,
yeah.
It was my only option. And it wasn't until I sort of became a professional musician that I started to experiment with different strings. And then it was kind of like trying things for the sake of knowing that what I had in the first place was right for me. Because I would try other brands, and it would always match up to D'Addario in such a poor way. And then, I went back, and then when they announced the NYXL thing some years ago, I tried them out because their rep at the time said that they're the best strings they've ever made.
Yeah.
They take a long time to die and go dead.
Yeah.
And for me as a touring musician, that kind of stuff is invaluable. So, I mean, really, just as long as I've been playing the guitar, so 18 going on 19 years now.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting as well because very much like Nick, you were with D'Addario, but you were using D'Addario before the NYXL.
For sure.
So you've got that comparison, whereas you haven't just come in.
No.
Yeah.
No,
which is cool.
And that story, I find a lot of other people are in the same exact scenario where, like, you ask them, how long have you been using the strings? It's like, oh, I'm a lifer. Because it's just some things you don't ever think about swapping out because there's no reason to complain about them.
Yeah.
And I've never had a reason with D'Addario. And when NYXL came out, it was just a completely new level of quality.
Yeah.
It was something that really couldn't be matched by anything else I'd ever put on a guitar.
Yeah. So what gauge are you using? Because you're a low tuning, right?
Yeah, I use 6, 7, and 8 strings.
Yeah.
So for each one, I have my own go-to set. And for the 6 string, I use 11 to 56.
Cool.
For the 7, I use a 10 to 52 set with a 64 as the ass end.
Yeah.
And on an 8 string, you know what? NYXL, there's one NYXL pack for 8 strings, and I always just use that. I forget the gauge number on there.
That's cool.
But yeah,
because they've released a bunch of new sort of gauges and.
Really?
Yeah.
For 8 strings?
I don't know if it's for 8 strings, but
okay.
I haven't done that much homework.
Neither have I. But yeah, that's the one I use, the stock 8 string NYXL. But yeah, man, it's just it's funny. So I tell this at every clinic that I do, but I use PRS. Our other 2 guitar players use completely different brands. I play Seymour Duncan for pickups. The other 2 guitar players in Periphery play completely separate brands from one another. The only thing that we all agree on in terms of style and tone and quality is D'Addario.
Right.
It's always kind of cracked me up how that was the one thing that we always had in common. So yeah, D'Addario, we wave that flag as strong as any other band on the planet, and we have too many guitar players as well. So we're waving the flag.
So you mentioned PRS.
Yeah.
Obviously, for the guys watching, you know that PRS is probably one of our strongest brands here. We're very, very lucky to be given the support by PRS, to stock the American core and everything else in between. So, how did that all come about? Have you always been sort of a PRS player, or have you gone? Was it a different guitar? Obviously, we're just chatting with Nick now. He was originally a Fender guy, so it's interesting to hear just how that journey sort of came to be.
I have a very metal-centric background. So for me, the reason I fell in love with music was because of Metallica. And so I, of course, I had a strong inclination to play pointy guitars. Because I would see Hetfield with the Explorer and Kirk with the V. No, I mean, no, he didn't play a V. Dave Mustaine had the big V.
Yeah, and the BC Rich.
Yeah. And Randy Rhoads was my favorite guitar player growing up. So, seeing all the pointy guitars made me sort of lean towards doing something like that. But I remember the first time I saw PRS, it was on Sunset Boulevard at the Guitar Center in the 90s. And I remember seeing it and being like, I love that shape. But something about the guitar seemed too rich for my blood. I looked at it and I was like, this looks too nice to play. I almost like put it on a pedestal because of how ornate and sort of special it looked.
Yeah.
And it didn't scream to me, I'm a metal guitar. It wasn't until years later where I borrowed my friend's Custom 24, which I always had somewhat of a fetish for that guitar, just the shape and the whole aesthetic of it. He let me borrow it and I fell in love with it. I was like, but no metal players play this guitar. I knew Santana played PRS. I knew that there were some other guys sort of flying the PRS flag, but not metal bands that I could liken myself to. Until I saw Cradle of Filth and, most importantly, Opeth. Yeah. Opeth was a game changer for me. So once I saw them rocking Custom 24s and Custom 22s, I said to myself, all right, this can be used for evil. And so that's when I sort of made the jump mentally. I was like, okay, I'm going to start using PRSs in a metal context, and that was when I fully committed.
Yeah. Now, obviously, your signature with PRS is one of our best sellers. It's one of our most requested models. Is that something that was obviously there's a few design differences? Was that something that between you and Paul you were kind of like, oh, I like this, I don't like that.
Yeah,
I like this.
That was a long discussion. I mean, Paul and I's personal relationship started a bunch of NAMMs ago. If you guys have ever been to NAMM, the trade show in Southern California, Anaheim, I met Paul maybe 6 or 7 years ago now at this point. Yeah. It was a while ago. And we just got to talking about guitars. And he asked me what I like about the guitars that I have, and I asked him what he likes, and we bounced ideas off each other. And then he said, what if I could build you a guitar? What would you like? And I said, I want a metal PRS. I want a flat fretboard, 20-inch radius on the fretboard. I want a 25.5-inch scale, which is a half-inch longer than what they do. Yeah. And I want metal pickups. I want like metal voice pickups in the guitar. And he, of course, had to push back a little bit because Paul... what I love about Paul is he's so passionate that he will not hesitate to call you out if he disagrees with you. He won't even hesitate. And that's what I love about him. That's why I'm so close to him, because he will not hesitate to tell me when I'm wrong or when he thinks I'm wrong. Yeah. But I remember they sent me the first prototype months later, and that was the exact version that we ended up releasing as I think it was a 2015 core model. So no adjustments made, but they just took my ideas and completely perfected them, honed them and made them better in some ways. Yeah. They convinced me to go from, for instance, stainless steel frets to nickel frets. Okay. Same size, just jumbo. Cheaper to produce, I believe, and just as durable. And they feel just as good, in my opinion. But just little things like that. Yeah. That I love having to battle with people about. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, today is July the 4th.
Oh yeah, it is.
It is July the 4th, and today it was announced that you have a brand new color. So we are now getting a satin whale blue quilt top.
Yes.
What do you think? Because we were talking earlier and you said it was news to me.
Well, I knew that, so they did a limited run of, I believe, that color or something similar late last year, late 2017. Yeah. And I think it was only 50 pieces, 50 or 100 pieces, and they sold out pretty quick. Yeah. And I know, like, I'm always coming up with these, sort of random ideas and sending them to PRS and say, hey, can we do a guitar in like in whatever like all black or like a like just a charcoal finish, and they always come back with, yeah, we can, but I don't know if people want that. And that's where I sort of leave the reins to them to figure out what to put out, because they know what people like. Yeah. I don't. Like, I know what I like. I know exactly what I like, but the beauty of what they do and what they sort of see across the board in forums, phone calls, emails, is they know what people like. Yeah. So that was something where they just said, how about this? What do you think? They sent me a mock-up, and I liked it. I'm playing an ebony. It's got an ebony top.
Yeah, that's cool.
Guitar. Yeah, you'll probably see video of it. But that guitar's killer. And I didn't design the color. That was something they just said, hey, look at this mock-up. What do you think? This is a great selling color for us. Would you play this? Yeah. And I said, yeah. But that's kind of how it's done. They have the ideas. They throw them off me, and I say thumbs up or thumbs down. Usually thumbs up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you guys will see, obviously, there'll be loads of clips of Mark and Nick playing, but you'll see that ebony-topped Holcomb signature, and it is just, it's gorgeous.
It's different looking, yeah.
It's amazing.
It's eye-catching.
Yeah. And it sounds killer as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds
Thank
cool.
you.
Now, we are, as I said earlier, we are in the throes of the event. Nick is out there warming up now, so I'm going to let you go and have some fun.
Thanks,
man.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's great. Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, man.
And we will see you very, very soon. So I've been Adam for A Strings. This has been Mark Holcomb. We will see you soon. Bye-bye.